The views and opinions expressed here on Wrestling Winedown are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any other agency, organization, employer, or company. What's up, guys? It's Lo, and you are tuned in to Wrestling Winedown, a female-founded and hosted podcast dedicated to professional wrestling and our favorite adult beverage. Happy 2025 baddies. We are back with a brand new episode of Chardonnay and Chisme, your wrestling girl talk. I am joined as always by Iridian and Lo of the Rest Friends podcast and the Fightful Collision post show, as well as our friend Kaycee Liendo, who is a wrestling cosplayer. The car is loaded with gas. We got our suitcases in the back seat, and we are on the road to Wrestlemania. Royal Rumble is right around the corner, and we are giving our predictions on who we would like to see return, who we would like to see debut, who we would like to see face off during the match, and of course, who we predict will win both the men's as well as the women's 2025 Royal Rumble matches. We are also giving our predictions on the appetizers of the show, which include Cody Rhodes putting his title up on the line in a ladder match against Kevin Owens, as well as the WWE Tag Team Championships on the line in a 2 out of 3 falls match. DIY consisting of Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa are putting their titles on the line against the legends Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. I love Royal Rumble time. I love the surprises. I love when they bring in legends. I love seeing the face-offs, but I absolutely love the road to WrestleMania altogether, and the fact that it leads to Las Vegas doesn't hurt at all. So grab your favorite glass of bubbly. We're going in for the 3 count. We are back with another episode of Wrestling Winedown. It has been 7 years since we did a Chardonnay and Chisme episode, but we are here and we are back, and it is a new year and it is WrestleMania season. We are on the road to WrestleMania. The car is full of gas. It's on full. We got 3 people in this car, okay? We have myself, we have Iridian and Lo of the Rest Friends podcast, and we have Miss Kaycee Liendo over the Moonsault, and we are chatting all things Royal Rumble. How are you ladies doing?
Doing so well.
Yeah, pretty good. I'm happy to be here.
The Royal Rumble is one of my favorite times of the year. I love the surprise aspect of it. Don't know if we're getting too much of that this year. It seems like they're starting to announce a lot of names already, but we're going to dive right in. Okay, we're starting with the appetizers, okay? We're starting with the matches that are not the Royal Rumble, and then we're going to get into our entrees, which are the actual Royal Rumble matches. So we have first the undisputed WWE Championship ladder match. The reigning defending champion, Cody Rhodes, is going up against Kevin Owens, and these two they've been a little bit feisty. Kevin Owens, I feel like he is really telling it how he feels with the shirts lately. Cody Sucks Eggs is the newest one. You know what? I'm here for it. I like a little bit of sassiness in wrestling. What do you guys think about this match? Where do you see it going? Do you see Cody losing his WWE Championship at the first pay-per-view of 2025, or do you think he's riding to WrestleMania right here in Las Vegas with the championship around his waist?
It's an interesting match. The fact that it's a ladder match, and the fact that they're going for not only the Universal title, but the Winged Eagle is tied in there. I love the Winged Eagle belt. That's like my favorite. But it's just interesting that they're even incorporating it into the match. It'll be good, and it's always good. I feel like Kevin Owens has 2 volumes, and it's his default volume and then too damn loud. I think he's always so loud and angry all the time. I was like, man, this guy is very angsty. He's always angry about something. So he's the perfect opponent to go against Cody. It's going to be a good match either way. I don't see Cody losing, obviously. He's our golden boy. He's our Ken, and I think he's going to stay on top for sure.
Yeah, Kaycee, I'm right there with you. I think that Cody's going to pick up the win. I do think that wing title is just so beautiful. When Kevin came out with it to the contract signing, I was like, oh my God, that is just so nice. And Kevin's really loud these days. I agree with you, Kaycee. Very loud, talking about how, this is my championship and I'm the original champion. And he was talking smack to Shawn Michaels even. I was like, okay, sir, we need to back it up a little bit. When you're yelling at HBK, you need to watch out for a kick. So he was just a little bit too close for my comfort. But I do like this side of Kevin Owens. I think that a lot of the things that he said in his promo were kind of true. He's been there for a long time. He told Cody, when things got rough, you left. I stayed and I was here working, which I was like, oh, he didn't lie. He didn't lie. Like, sometimes a little bit of the truth in the promos really goes a long way. And I think that only adds to their feud. But the last time I'm thinking that Cody had a ladder match, the most memorable one that I'm thinking of is when he got speared by Sammy Guevara. And that was just a little intense. So I wonder if there will be any shenanigans in this ladder match this time around.
I think Cody's retaining. I don't see Kevin Owens going into WrestleMania as champion. Do I think Kevin Owens should have a championship reign at some point? Absolutely. I think, like you said, a lot of the things that he's mentioned in his promo are true. He's been here, right? He's been waiting for his opportunity. And he was here when the times were tough, and Cody skedaddled and went somewhere else. But you have to think, going into WrestleMania here in Las Vegas, you have to have a big name like Cody Rhodes as your champion leading the force. And I think Cody, even though I've heard mixed things about his reign, some people are unhappy with it, some people absolutely love it. At the end of the day, you're talking. And that's what's important. You're talking about it either way. If we weren't talking about it, that would be a different issue. I see Cody going into it as champion, leaving as champion, but there's always something about a ladder match at pay-per-views that really gets me excited. They really bring their A game when it comes to ladder matches, and we'll see what happens. I just hope no one falls off the ladder.
That's why there's that the little risk of injury. And you don't want anybody to get injured, but it's that riskiness that's in the match. It just kind of keeps you engaged and like, oh my God, I just want everybody to be okay at the end. All the limbs.
I want them both to have fun.
Yeah, exactly. I just want both wrestlers to have a good time.
Moving on, the WWE Tag Team Championships are on the line. 2 out of 3 falls match. We have DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa going up against Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. As we know, Motor City Machine Guns are new to WWE, but they are not new to tag team wrestling. They have been in Impact. They've been in the Indies. They are household names, in my opinion, in terms of tag team wrestling. And now they're going up against Gargano and Ciampa. And we know those two. They've had history as well. Where do you see this match going? 2 out of 3 falls. We love a good stipulation. Do you see DIY picking it up, or do you see Motor City Machine Guns picking up the win here?
I do think they're going to play it out. I think they're both going to get 1-1, and it's going to come down to that last fall. And I want to say that Motor City Machine Guns is going to pick it up because they have the fans behind them. I was watching their last couple matches, and I'm like, man, these fans are really like rooting for them, which you would think like, DIY when they started, like they were at the top and fans absolutely love them. But something about DIY this time around that they're giving very much heel. So it's just not vibing. But man, there's just a lot of people who could also get involved. I think Pretty Deadly is maybe an influence that could be involved, and also just some other tag teams because everyone is after those tag team championships. But I do want to say that Motor City Machine Guns is going to pick up the win. I'm excited for this one. I think it's going to be really entertaining.
Oh yeah. I think the wrestling is going to be top tier, high level wrestling because they're both very, very talented tag teams. So I definitely see Motor City Machine Guns. I'm not familiar with their past wrestling, but from what I've seen since they've come to WWE is just they're incredible. They work so well. They're so cohesive, but so is DIY. You can tell that these are 2 tag teams that have been wrestling with each other for so long that they just kind of know each other's movesets. They can kind of proactively think and counter what the other tag team is going to be giving their way. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. I love when we get those high level wrestling matches, where it's just like, oh man, this is like, what do they call that? Like a textbook. These are one of those kind of matches you go back and watch if you're a wrestler for technique and stuff. I feel like it's going to just be really, really fun to watch. I honestly don't care who wins. DIY is a good heel tag team. So I'd love to see Motor City win and then see who goes up against them next.
I agree with you. Like I said, Motor City Machine Guns, it was a huge deal that they signed at WWE. They had been in Impact forever. That's really where they gained their name. They have wrestled the best of them. And when they left, it was a huge deal. People were wondering, were they going to AEW? Were they going to WWE? People didn't know, right? And then finally we had an inkling that they were going to WWE, and we saw those promos. Finally they came, and they have just been doing really good work. Just like Kaycee said, Kaycee did not watch them in Impact. She's getting familiar with them now, and she has some of the same sentiments that I have when I was watching them when I was 14, 15 years old watching Impact. They've been consistent for so long, and they've been household names in tag team wrestling. I mean, you think of popular historic tag teams. You think of the Hardys, you think of Edge and Christian, you think of Motor City Machine Guns, you think of so many others, the Dudleys. They are within tag team royalty at this point. I think it is so crucial to have them in WWE towards the end of their career because there are so many young tag teams coming in that can learn so much. And like you said, Kaycee, they are meshing really well with DIY, but I'm sure they'll mesh well with the Street Profits. I'm sure they'll mesh well with Pretty Deadly. They are so versatile in the way that they move in the ring that they really can work with anyone and they can adapt really well and they can make their opponent look really good. So hopefully they do win. I think it'd be really good to have them as champions at this point, and then we'll see who else challenges. Let's move on to the entrees. I'm ready. I'm hungry.
Bring on those steak and potatoes.
Yes.
So the men's Royal Rumble match, we have some participants that have been named, including John Cena, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, LA Knight, Jey Uso, Rey Mysterio, Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, Logan Paul, WWE's latest signing Penta, Chad Gable, Intercontinental Champion Braun Breaker, and Carmelo Hayes. Now, there are a lot of notable names that have already been announced that I kind of want to spotlight a little bit. We know John Cena is one. John Cena is on his farewell tour. I'm going to be crying at WrestleMania watching him wrestle for the last time in a WrestleMania match. But this is the first time John Cena has been in a Royal Rumble in a minute. And he hasn't been a full-time wrestler. So it should be really interesting to see how he kind of adapts to being in a ring. And I'm sure he's not going to just be in there for a quick minute. I'm sure he is going to be, in there for a while if he does not win. It should be interesting to see if he could keep up with some of these younger talents that have been active for the years that he's been Hollywood, so to speak. Roman Reigns is in a Royal Rumble, which doesn't even sound right at this point. I felt like Roman Reigns would never do this any other time, but he's in it this year because he wants a chance at his title back. I'm very intrigued to see how he goes up against John Cena at this point because, hey, look at it like this. John Cena was at the top of the game at one point. Roman Reigns came right after him and really took his spot. And now we have Cody kind of coming after that. So I do think there might be a power trip there, but we will see during the match. And I mean, there's other notable names in here as well. Jey Uso has been on an absolute roll lately. You have Rey Mysterio, who he's been in the game for so many years, but he still looks like he's 20, 21 years old wrestling. He is still so amazing at what he does. And then we have notables as well. Seth Rollins is going to come out here and slay and then kick some ass. Drew McIntyre is still bitter about CM Punk, so he'll probably throw him out the ring. But hey, we're excited. Let's talk about it. What are we excited about so far with these participants that have been announced?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, man, it's like the best of the best. I mean, there's so many notable names on the roster that are already announced. So I can't imagine what the remaining names are going to be because it's already stacked. Like it's some of the top names that in that promotion currently. And so I don't know which way it's going to go, which is exciting. Obviously, you want to see John Cena win because, like you said, it's his kind of like farewell tour, and you kind of want to see him go out with a bang. And I was talking with Raul earlier today, and I was just saying, like he's lost so many times, like in his previous appearances, and over the past 2 years. I was like, he's like a 16-time champion. Like he needs a big win at a big pay-per-view to really kind of redeem the fact that he is a legend. He is a, future Hall of Famer. Like you need to have him have that shining moment. And I would hate for him to lose at Royal Rumble, like come back and be like, this is my farewell tour and I'm losing. Like, so I would love to see him really shine in this match. As much as I don't like him, I feel like CM Punk is going to be that one that like, I know it's already, I know it's just, but I just feel like he's one of those ones, like, this is probably his only opportunity to win a title shot. Like, how else is he going to win it? He's kind of on his way out, too. So, who knows?
Okay.
I don't know. I'm excited to see who else is announced. Obviously, I love Drew McIntyre. I love heel Drew McIntyre. He's so good. Like, loved him as a babyface, but he's so good as a heel. He just does not care what he says and how he says it and how he delivers it. He's just so good. And then, like, he looks like a walking action figure. So he's so powerful in the ring, and I know he's going to try to hold on as best as he can, but I'm just excited to see even Roman Reigns too. Is he going to just stand there on the side and like let everybody else tire themselves out and then just come in with a spear and just start taking out people?
Don't give away his game plan.
He's like, I'll let y'all waste your time. You're not going to waste mine.
Man, this men's Royal Rumble, I think is going to be really interesting because there are just some big names in there already announced. Like those top 4, when they were announcing themselves, like Cena, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. I was like, all right, guys, we need to settle down. We need to stop saying we are going to be in the Rumble because I like surprises.
Yeah.
I'm one that likes to be surprised. I think that the Royal Rumble, that's why people get so excited about it because literally you don't know who's coming out next. You don't know if it's going to be a veteran. You don't know if it's a top star, if it's someone who you're like, oh, wow, I didn't think they would be in this match. But yeah, this makes sense. Put them in there, just a chance for them to shine. But it's going to be interesting. Lo, you mentioned John Cena and Roman Reigns. They have a lot of history. The one thing that I remember is Roman forgetting his little promo and John Cena's like, no, come on, guy. If you want to do this, you're going to have to learn how to cut a promo. And it was on camera. And I was like, oh my God, John Cena eating him up. It was so good. It was so good. But now look at Roman Reigns. Roman is what you think of when you think of WWE. So to have a guy like John Cena in there at the same time that Roman Reigns is in the ring. And I want to say that that's going to be maybe like the final 6, right? That you're going to have those big names in there and you're going to be like, wow, who is really going to take this? Because you never know. And that's what's fun about the Rumble. With Kaycee, I said it on the Rest Friends podcast. I think that John Cena, you need to give him everything this year. And if that's not a win at the Royal Rumble, it needs to be the win at the Elimination Chamber. He has to go to WrestleMania. He has to be a 17-time world champion. I don't know what the politics are backstage of maybe thinking we have to leave that for Ric Flair or even leave that for Charlotte, which we'll talk about, to be a 17-time champion. I don't think that you should not give it to John Cena. Like, he's a guy who's represented WWE forever. So it's going to be fun. I'm excited about this one, but I'm even more excited about the women's match. And I know we're going to talk about that, but Bestie, take it away.
So on Twitter yesterday, and I saw somebody talking about how everyone is, talking about how the Royal Rumble used to be full of surprises, but there was once upon a time where they used to have a big thing in the back and it would spin and people would select their number. And they were like, that wasn't a surprise, right? Because we knew who was going to be in it. We just didn't know what number they were coming in. Now, I get that. But there still is an element of surprise. Yeah, you know who's in the match, but you don't know who is coming up next.
That's true.
I actually prefer the surprise element. I think it makes you excited to do the countdown, to see who comes out, etc. Speaking of that, who would you all like to see return during the 2025 men's Royal Rumble? Is there anyone that you have in mind that you're like, I would like to see them come back? Or hey, even somebody to debut. We have some people that are in the free agency. Is there anyone that you're kind of like, I want them at the Royal Rumble?
My initial first thought is, now with this partnership with TNA, I want to see Jeff Hardy.
Yes.
I need to see Jeff Hardy. He's got so much history again with John Cena, with CM Punk. I need to see him one more time in that WWE ring. I think, that's home for them when I think about the Hardys. I think that would mean a lot. And I think he would absolutely shine in a match like this. I want to see maybe Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. I know we do. But man, that would just be so much fun. Now with that element of TNA, I think there's a lot of possibilities of people who could cross over for that one night and maybe cross over into NXT a little bit later. But yeah, I think we need some TNA, specifically Jeff Hardy. Matt Hardy would be great too, right? But I want to see Jeff.
Matt Hardy got to come out with his hair condition. That's my only specification if he is coming out.
Let's do some, leave-in conditioner the night before. No, for sure. Those are all, I definitely had the Hardy Boys on my list of possible. Now with the TNA partnership, I was like, oh yeah, that opens a whole door of, these wrestlers that you're like, oh my gosh. I love that. That's that little surprise that you want. Because it's like, okay, cool. These aren't on the main roster. These aren't WWE wrestlers. This is from a completely different promotion, but it's really great to see one night for them to be able to mingle and kind of wrestle together. Okay, so one of mine is that's a little unconventional, and it's because he hinted at it himself, is Indiana's own Mick Foley. He actually, I think it was this week or last week, he made a video about his weight loss journey.
Yes,
and and he was talking about how he even got to do a spotlight at OVW, and he was like, and after I finished, I felt good, I was able to drive myself home and I didn't feel winded. And so he's from Indiana, and this would be perfect for him to just kind of pop in, be like, hey. If we're gonna have a legend in there, I would love to see Mick Foley. If not be part of the Royal Rumble, Men's Rumble, just be a host. It would be great to see him there. I love Mick Foley. Big heart for Mick Foley. Big E, I'd love to see Big E wrestle, even just for that night, it'd be great. And then maybe have a fight with Kofi and Xavier, kind of have beef within the Rumble. I think that would be great to see them kind of reunite in that sense. And then I also put Aleister Black.
Here we go. We're getting into the meat and potatoes.
Yeah. I was like, it'd be great to see him come back. I think he'd get a great pop. Mm-hmm. And I would love to see him back in the ring. And I want to see him kick somebody. I want to see him roundhouse kick every single person in that ring.
And then just take a seat in the middle.
And yeah, exactly. And then just sit down. And that's it. That's all he has to do.
Okay. One more person. Where's Ricky Starks? Okay. He was just at the house. Hold on, guys.
Oh gosh. Here we go.
He was just at House of Glory. I would love to see Ricky Starks in the Royal Rumble. I know we've talked about it for a while, but
Ricky Starks is not free yet, though.
I don't know. They need to make something happen. They need to make something happen because I cannot wait till next year's Royal Rumble for him to make a debut. Okay. That's going to be too long. We need to do something and I don't know what it is, but we need to do it. I would love to see Penta in the ring now that he's new on the roster. I think it'd be cool to see him in there with guys like John Cena, with maybe Randy Orton. I think it would be so cool. There's just so many options. I think that's what people love about the Rumble. It's like how many possibilities, who's getting thrown out, like crazy stuff. So I'm very, very excited.
Those are good picks. I have some that you guys did not mention. Josh Alexander just wrapped up with TNA. He was with TNA for a minute. He was champion for a while over there as well. Hasn't really said where he's going next. People have assumed maybe he will be WWE bound. I think he would be a good addition to WWE. This would be a good way to loop him in. But I feel like if they do that, they would also need to have Ethan Page in the Royal Rumble because they were tag team before in TNA. And I think that'd be a really cool moment to have them in the ring together. But if Josh Alexander does not come, I still think Ethan Page needs to be in the Royal Rumble.
Absolutely.
I also think that Trick Williams deserves to be in the Royal Rumble at this point. I think the pop that he would get would be insane. And maybe, some type of back and forth with him and Carmelo, kind of going back to their feud in NXT would be really good. I do have one that would typically people might think should go in the women's Royal Rumble, but I kind of want to see Jordan Grace in the men's Rumble.
Oh,
yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, she's already done the women's Rumble. Why not the men's? Yeah.
And that's because I just saw Rhea apparently was quoted that she was like, I just might enter the men's Rumble.
Why not both?
Have them face off during the men's Rumble.
That's crazy.
I mean, the men online might get pissed off, but honestly, y'all go to the bathroom anyway during the women's matches. So are you really going to watch them face off?
Yeah, exactly. Go get your popcorn, go to the bathroom. We'll enjoy it.
You both have kind of said John Cena should win. Is John Cena your final pick to win the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble? Is there anyone else that you think might win here?
I said I want John Cena. I think CM Punk will win. I want John Cena, though.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with Kaycee. I want John Cena to win. I want to say they might play it out a little bit longer to make you think that John Cena is not getting a match at Mania, which is insane to say, right? But I think that pop for CM Punk, people would love that. Not me, but people would. And I think Cena can still pick it up in the Elimination Chamber. I think it might come down to them two at the end, even. And we'll have to see what happens then. But yeah, I think that CM Punk is taking it.
CM Punk cannot win this Royal Rumble. He cannot win this Royal Rumble. I don't want him to win. Therefore, he cannot win. I honestly feel like John Cena should win, but I can see your point of they might just have him pull it off at Elimination Chamber, just so you kind of think, oh my God, John Cena really might not have a match. But I could also see them doing that for Punk as well.
No, that's
he doesn't win. I can see them having him pick it up there. But where does that leave Roman Reigns? Do you really think Roman Reigns is not going to be at WrestleMania? So where does he come into play?
He needs a vacation. He didn't even have that long of a break.
And you know what's crazy? I think all of these top stars are getting WrestleMania matches. I think Roman is going to be at Mania. I think Rollins is going to be at Mania. I even think Penta's going to be at Mania. Doing what? I don't know. There's 2 nights now. Anything is possible. The show's like 8 hours long.
That's true. He could have a little, what is it, the before?
Not the pre-show.
Yeah, pre-show.
Roman Reigns on the pre-show?
No, not Roman. Penta, maybe.
Not Pence on the pre-show?
Penta on the pre-show.
Put Punk on the pre-show, okay?
There we go. We will be there at 5. The pre-show starts at 3. Let's get into the Women's Royal Rumble match. We do have some people that have been announced, including Nia Jax, Bayley, the returning Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Liv Morgan, and there are 24 more to be announced women that are going to be in this match. Now, Charlotte Flair, who has been injured, did have a couple promos where she was giving rich and she finally said, I'm going to be in the Royal Rumble. And that ruffled a couple feathers on Twitter because people wanted to be surprised and they were upset that it was announced beforehand. But everyone else who has been announced, I haven't seen anyone throw a fit about. How do you guys feel about Charlotte making it known that she's going to be at the Royal Rumble rather than just kind of showing up and making her presence known?
I mean, I did see some, tweets that were saying like, oh, maybe it's announced because there's going to be an even bigger reveal than Charlotte. But I was like, how much bigger can you go past Charlotte? Charlotte's, one
Becky
of the top.
Lynch.
That's true. That's very true. I have her on my list of possibilities.
Yeah.
So that's true. Maybe big time Bex comes to steal the thunder of Charlotte. So
I don't know if you caught in one of her promos that she had for her return, she did mention something about the man. Yeah. So people were kind of putting 2 and 2 together. Maybe that's to kind of lead to something with them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Becky will kind of be like, you talking shit? Let's go at it. I don't know. But that was also in one of the promos, and I kind of was like,
That's a good catch. That's a good catch. I love little Easter eggs like that, where it's like, ooh. But yeah, I mean, I figured they've been hinting at it. So it's like for them to reveal, yes, she's entering the Royal Rumble. It's not a surprise. And I wish they would have saved it, but it's fine that they did. I don't think it takes anything away. If anything, it brings more of a draw to, okay, I want to see what happens. What number is she going to be? Is she going to be the last one? Or is she going to be the first one? Who knows? It's just going to be exciting to see her back because she brings so much athleticism. And so she's just one of those bigger wrestlers too. She just towers over so many of the females. So it's going to be great to kind of put her into that mix. I know one name that I didn't see on the list was, I think Raquel's also going to be in it because Liv kind of hinted at Raquel helping her in the match to secure the win. So I was like, yeah, have Charlotte going against somebody as like Raquel. She's a big girl too. Like I just want to see all the Amazonian women. So it's gonna be great.
Honestly, that Charlotte announcement pissed me off because I was like, are you serious? Like, I knew Charlotte was coming back at the Rumble, right? I was like, very, very high possibility that Charlotte's showing up. I didn't want it confirmed before the Rumble, though. Like, that takes away from the surprise. Now, I know Charlotte's coming out. I just don't know what number. But, man, it would have just been so cool if you're watching the Rumble and you're like, oh, my God, Charlotte's back. And then everyone's talking about it on social media. That just would have been so cool because in that moment, it creates that buzz. So WWE has lost that because they've announced it beforehand, which they've done before, too. Like, sometimes one time I went to Monday Night Raw and they were like, oh, surprise, Trish Stratus is going to be there tonight. And I'm like, I would have liked to be surprised when Trish comes out, but it is what it is. I wonder though, Charlotte, of course, she's a top star. She doesn't just come back for nothing. So if she's in the Rumble, are we thinking she's winning the Rumble now? Like, I feel like Charlotte, that's the queen. So the queen does queen things and she might win. So who knows on that, but that announcement pissed me off.
So we have her return. Is there anyone else that you would like to see return during this match? There's been talk about Alexa Bliss. She was supposed to come back. That was nixed. We haven't really seen anything from Carmella. She got injured during childbirth, so she hasn't been active as a wrestler. There's other people. Jade Cargill is one that is injured, and we don't know who attacked her, but that girl is on Instagram looking like a baddie, so I don't know what's going on with her. She's at the Performance Center, but she's not in a WWE ring on Raw or SmackDown currently. Is there anyone that you're kind of like, this would be a good time for them to come back in this match?
I would want to see Miss Nikki Bella herself walking the red carpet. I am ready for her. And, we saw her on the red carpet recently, and it was just nice because she was dressed as Nikki Bella, not Nikki Garcia. And we know that there was like a little bit of falling out there, but I guess now everything's all good. So I think that this would be a great time to bring back Nikki and, just to have her do a little something, something. She doesn't need to do crazy stuff. So that would just be nice to have her.
Let me ask you something. Are you loaning her your neck?
She doesn't have. Okay, listen. Do you remember when she came back and it was between her and Asuka in the Royal Rumble?
Was that when she was hanging over the top rope?
Yes. When we were traumatized, and I was like, we're like, the neck, please. Okay, they don't have to get that extreme that time. She could just go over. I don't think she's winning the Rumble, right? But she can show up. People love Nikki. I think someone else that people would like to see, Billie Kay from the Iconics. I think I miss her so much. I think that would just be nice for her to come back and just do a little something, and also show that she's okay with WWE, because I know the way that the Iconics, the way that they fell out was also unfortunate. But I would also like to see Melina. I know we love Melina.
Ooh.
And Kelly, who has been looking great in Miss Barbie Blank. Fantastic. Last person. Do you guys remember Jillian? She's like, you want me. She would have to sing a little song. Sliced bread. That went platinum in my casa, okay? Double platinum. I love Miss Jillian. Just great stuff. I do want to see a lot of NXT girlies in there. I love me some Stephanie Vaquer.
Yes.
I think Stephanie, let's go. Put her right there with Charlotte. Let's see what happens. Yes, sign me up.
I love that. Yeah. Stephanie Vaquer was definitely on my list. And Jade, I miss her. I want to see her back on my screen. I want to know who beat her up in the back and how she's going to take revenge on that. I think that's going to be really exciting. I know everybody's been wanting it just as badly as they wanted CM Punk, which is AJ Lee. I would love to see her. I've never seen any of her stuff, so I'd like to see her in action. So that would be really great. I put Sarah Logan. She's not my favorite, but when I was looking up who was from Indiana, she's from Indiana, and I know they rebranded the Viking Raiders, so I could see them bringing her back. It's one of those, those throwaways, those toss-ins that they put in. I could see her. Sorry, was that mean? That was mean, right? They need some of them. They can't all be the top tier, right?
I'm on the floor, Kaycee. She's gonna be when they toss her out. That's how much on the floor.
They need somebody. I was like, they always like to bring in the ones that are from, like whatever state they're in for Wrestlemania. So I was like, they probably will bring her, and we'll be like, who was that? What theme music was that one? So I could see her coming back rebranded. Nikki Cross would be great to see. I always love that little spooky, weird element. I would love to see her be thrown into the Royal Rumble. Masha Slamovich.
Yes, that's a good one.
Please. Yeah. If we're going to bring some TNA talent and Jordan's going to be with the men's, let's bring Masha over here to kind of bring in that brutality. I'd love to see that. Yeah, that's pretty much all the ones that I could think of, but I love the women's Royal Rumble. It always has my interest because the gear is always, they always bring such great looks. The men are pretty predictable with what they wear, and they can only do so much. Seth is really the only one that kind of really uses his creativity.
Takes it seriously.
Exactly. He brings that element of theatrics and pageantry. But with the women, their gear is always my favorite part of the Royal Rumble. Is just getting to see what they come out in. They really get creative with their gear for Royal Rumble. So I'm excited.
In terms for me, Melina would be a good one. I've seen recently that she's been training, so that does catch my attention. Someone else that just had a match with TNA, I saw a spoiler, was Jazz. If Jazz comes out during the Rumble, just call the ambulance for me. It's over. Because I've been vouching for a Legends contract for her for 7 years, and now seeing that she is back in the ring with TNA, when TNA does have a partnership with WWE at this point, is very promising. So she would be another one. Masha, I think, is 100% a very good choice. And I want to see the women scared of Masha. Yes. To be honest with you, I would love to see Masha versus Asuka, but I don't know where Asuka is in terms of injury. So that kind of is like a TBD. Becky Lynch, I think we need to keep her in mind. Don't really know where she's at in terms of, is she coming back soon? Is she not? Jade as well, like I mentioned, which, by the way, who do you think attacked her?
Ooh. My bet is on Bianca.
Crazy.
I think it's one of the two. I think it's Naomi
one
or
of the
Bianca.
two.
Yeah.
There's a little speculation that it could have been Charlotte in order for Charlotte to come back and take that spot.
She's like, you're acting rich like me. That's my gimmick. Get out of here.
Oh, can you imagine them against you?
Oh my God.
Match.
The promos?
Oh my God.
The promos.
Absolutely.
Do you have any choices from NXT? I know I said Stephanie Vaquer, but also Sol Ruca has been doing great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Sol Ruca would be good. I mean, Roxanne would also be another good one. I think if you're going to have Masha in there, you have to throw Cora Jade in the mix because they've kind of been going back and forth with one another. I think those are my picks for NXT. I would have had another name, but unfortunately, things happened. So she is not on my list anymore.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
So who do we think is winning the Women's Royal Rumble?
See, this one's harder to decide than
the men.
The men, it can, not that it's predictable, but the men, it's like you can kind of see who at least the top three would be. With the women, it's just like, I have no idea of the direction they want to go for WrestleMania. So it's hard.
It's tough. And you also have to think about the champions. Like, who out of the Rumble could go to face Rhea or could go to face Tiffany Stratton? So there's just a lot of possibilities. Even if Charlotte does come back, Charlotte can be a champion whenever. She doesn't need to win the Rumble. Same thing with Becky Lynch. They don't need to win the Royal Rumble. These are established names. I don't know if they would build up maybe a star who we haven't really had our eyes on. So there's just so many possibilities. I honestly have no idea. I can't answer that.
I think it could be Charlotte. I think Charlotte would be a great one because I think that would leave a mystery of who she would pick, because you'd think she'd pick Rhea because of their history, and it'd be their third time going against each other at a WrestleMania. But I feel like she would swerve and go for Tiffany. You know what I mean? Like throw a curveball, when she picks who she wants to go against, and then she could go for Tiffany instead of Rhea. So I think she would be a good name, and she's obviously a high profile women's wrestler for WrestleMania, so it would make sense for her to win so she can go and have a championship match at WrestleMania.
I'm 10 toes down for Bianca Belair. I don't care. I really don't care. I have seen that there are rumors that they would like to go towards Rhea versus Bianca, which I think has been the rumor for years. I think those two, we've seen them in the Royal Rumble together, working together. We've never seen them facing off at a WrestleMania yet. And I think that is a huge moneymaker if they aren't going to do Bianca versus Jade this year, is to go that route. I don't see Bianca choosing Tiffany Stratton at this point. I don't know who Tiffany Stratton is going to face at WrestleMania, to be honest with you. It would probably be Charlotte.
So I've seen two rumors of two possible WrestleMania matches. One was either going to be Charlotte and Bianca, and it was going to be no titles, or it was going to be Tiffy and Charlotte. So either way, Charlotte's going to WrestleMania.
Right. Well, I mean, girl, we knew it. She was in the Rolls Royce. She was hopping off the private jet. You think she was doing that just sitting in the back and catering and WrestleMania in Las Vegas?
She's like, I'm showing up no matter what.
She got the helicopter on deck. She ready.
Oh my God. And these entrances in Vegas are going to be phenomenal.
I'm telling you.
See, and I feel like we have to think about that as well. Like, who is going to have one of those big entrances at WrestleMania? Like, you think of Bianca. Bianca always has a big entrance. Yes. You think of Charlotte Flair. She always has a big entrance. Like, those are two that I'm like, I could see them being at WrestleMania in a title capacity. There's other women on the list as well who could probably pull off like a big entrance. And hey, maybe they don't pull off a big entrance, but they still have a great match. But when you think of WrestleMania and you think of Las Vegas, you think of the lights. It's the grandest stage of them all, right? So you need to go big or go home. And some of these women on the list, I'm like, how are they going to go big or go home at WrestleMania if they win the Royal Rumble? I do agree to an extent of building a new star. And that used to be what the Royal Rumble was. You'd have people win the Royal Rumble match who typically weren't in the main event status. This is their moment. This is their moment to shine. But it seems like in the last couple years, it hasn't been like that. It's been well-defined names who win the Royal Rumble and then go on to have a WrestleMania match. Your boy Cody, he was a real defined name. We already know who Cody Rhodes is. If this would have been Legacy Cody, it would have been a completely different ball game. So I think the aspect and what the Royal Rumble has changed along the years, right? And I think the fact that now Raw is on Netflix, they're bringing in new people to wrestling, but they're also bringing back old fans into wrestling. People are going to have to retrain their minds a little bit. If they watch a Rumble and they haven't watched a Rumble in 10, 15 years, they're going to be like, well, he's a top name. Why did he win? Or why did she win? We see her every week because it's different now. But who knows? They could maybe choose someone from NXT to win. That would be crazy to see. They could choose Jordan Grace to win. We don't know. We will just have to tune in and see. That is all we have. We don't have any dessert for y'all, so I hope you got full off the entrees. Thank you so much for joining us here on another episode of Chardonnay and Chisme Royal Rumble Predictions. Thank you so much, Kaycee and Iridian, for joining me. Where can the people find you on social media? We will start with Kaycee.
You can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Over the Moonsalt, and Twitter is OT Moonsalt.
Yeah, on Twitter and Instagram, you can find me at Iridian_Fiero, and on YouTube, Rest Friends. That's WREST Friends. We got our podcast. We got the vlogs. Go follow me over there. It's a great time.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Wrestling Winedown. You can find all of our other episodes available wherever you listen to your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and iHeartRadio. We are on Twitter and Instagram at WWDCAST. We also have our official merch store, which you can find at shop.wrestlingwinedownlv.com. Let us know what you thought about this episode. What was your favorite part? Until next time, enjoy your wine and, of course, enjoy your wrestling. Cheers!